Hey everybody, it's Mike Pingel. Welcome to another spooky Halloween Collector's Haven. Today we have, okay, it's blowing my mind. I've been looking at Patrick's Instagram at all the amazing things he has on the movie Halloween and the franchise. I grew up with Halloween. I love Halloween. I watch it every year. And Patrick, welcome to the show. But you watch it every day, don't you? It's your life.
I can probably not even count how many times I've watched it. And my kids will come downstairs in the movie room where I have everything here, and they'd be like, and they'll hear the music. It's the music iconic, and they're like, seriously, again? I'm like, well, when there's nothing else on, put on Halloween.
So I'm assuming it's your ringtone too.
Actually, no, because it's a company phone. So I'm like, if I'm in a meeting or out working somewhere and they start playing that, they're gonna be like, what is up with him? Yeah, I did used to have it, and I actually changed it. I'm like, yeah, it didn't bode well when it goes off at work.
That's fantastic. So when did you fall in love with Halloween?
I can honestly tell you the date because I first saw Halloween on October 31st, 1980. And the reason I can remember it is not only do I have the original cable guide when it was on HBO broadcast, I have that. Actually, I can show you exactly when I watched it. The reason I remember it so much is because I don't know what your age is, but if you remember back in the late 70s, I don't know how old you are, a lot of places didn't have cable. Where I grew up in New Jersey, there were a lot of places that didn't have cable. So my cousins would come over on the weekends and we'd watch movies. And they came over that particular night because we were going to watch The Warriors, if you remember the movie The Warriors. So we watched The Warriors, and after that, 10:30 at night comes on this movie called Halloween. So we see Halloween, like, all right, let's watch it. We didn't know what it was. Scared the crap out of me. I was 7 years old. I mean, it fascinated me and scared the crap out of me at the same time. And ever since then, every movie after that I've followed, and it's turned into a passion where, it's a little odd, but the stranger thing is ever since I created my Instagram, which was twofold, to show people that are interested in the franchise. Plus, sometimes I have so many things. If I come across something, it's almost like a record of what I have. So all I have to do is look at my phone. So if I go to a lot of collectors conventions and stuff like that, and I forget sometimes. I'm like, wow, do I have that? Boom, I can punch it right up on Instagram and say, yeah, I do have it or I don't have it. So, but I also have I actually started with a Halloween collectors page on Facebook, and that's where I realized how many people there were out there just as crazy as I am. I got 16,000 members in the group now.
Wow.
So there's 16,000 crazy people just like me, believe it or not.
So when was the first time you actually bought a collectible? Was it the DVD, or was there something that they made?
Well, that's the whole thing, because Halloween, until it really became big in the last 20 years, I mean, it was well known back then, but it wasn't franchised into a collecting thing. I mean, they really didn't start putting anything collectible out till the early 2000s. They actually, a company called Paper Magic Group, PMG, actually struck a deal where they were selling stuff through Spencer's, the collectible store, Spencer's. And they started putting out a lot of Halloween stuff back in the early 2000s, like figures and a lot of the stuff I have back here. And it was very crude. I could show you some of them. They don't look like they're kind of crude, and some of them even look like Michael Myers. But that's when it all started, because all of a sudden they said, hey, we can franchise this. And now there's so much stuff I can't even keep up with it. I mean, I focus solely most of the time on the first few movies, because that's where my heart is. That's when I first got into it as a kid. Granted, we got a new movie coming out this Friday, which I'm looking forward to. Everybody can't wait to see. This is a rebooted it 2 years ago, which was an actual direct sequel to the original, and they negated everything else. So now this is part 2, and there's going to be a third one, Halloween Ends. So it's going to be a crazy week here, as you can see, because I'm anticipating. Even my kids are anticipating it too, because they like watching it. They think I'm crazy for collecting it, but they like watching it. But yeah, there really wasn't anything to collect. So people say, well, what was the first thing you ever had? Believe it or not, it was the Halloween on VHS.
Yep.
First I bought the VHS, and every year when it would come out, you get the VHS of Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, and that was really it, because there was nothing. I could tell you that now there's T-shirts galore. Back in 1989, I wanted a T-shirt. I had to get one airbrushed. I took the VHS cover of Halloween 4, took it to an airbrush place, and I had them make me a shirt, because you couldn't find shirts. Because they had no collectibles. It didn't exist until really the early 2000s, and then it's just started coming out with everything, because it really, what started it was eBay. When eBay came on the scene and everybody can find everything, that's how I got a lot of, I mean, people like, wow, where you get a lot of the films. I mean, one of the questions I know you'll ask is like, what's the coolest thing I have? I have an actual, you probably saw it on my Instagram. I have a full scope print, 35 millimeter print of Halloween that I was showing in the theaters. And
Wow.
actually, when I told you what I was waiting for, it didn't come in yet. And I know the person I got that from is going to be watching this because I told them, because I'm getting two more prints from them, which is a two Halloween 2 16 millimeter full scope prints. One is in French. It's a French release, and one is a UK release. So I was kind of hoping to have it, but of course, when things are supposed to come these days by the post office, they usually take an extra week. It should have been
Yeah.
here Saturday, and the post office was closed today. But I thought that would have been cool. But that's my biggest thing. I mean, when I got a copy of that, I was like, wow. And like, this was Halloween. This was shown in 1978 in the theater. How cool is that? So that's my coolest thing.
That
But
is really cool.
so much other stuff. But I'll let you ask whatever you want
Oh,
because
of course. Well,
I can talk forever.
I have just these. I can't believe I only have. Oh, can we even see them? Just the DVDs, and I was excited to get this one because this has those extended NBC
TV scenes, yep.
with Jamie Lee Curtis with her horrible hair.
Yep. The wig that she had to wear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the wig, do you?
That I don't have.
Oh man.
No, I gotta go. I don't have it. No, sorry.
So, in your collection, you've collected press kits and DVDs and film reels. Do you have any actual props from the film?
That's one thing I don't have any props. I mean, because there's very few real props from the original movie. There's a few people that I know online that have one or two things, but because you got to remember, it was such a low budget film in 1978. It was $325,000 when all was said and done.
Right.
That's how much the movie was made for. So there wasn't very much promotional material, and they they didn't save anything because it was a low budget horror film. They didn't realize it was going to be what it was.
It wasn't filmed for like 18 or 28 days or something like that.
21 days, 21 shooting days.
Yeah.
Soup to nuts. So
like,
they didn't
boom,
this.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, I mean, the only things that I think that have survived that I've seen online is somebody actually has the original mask, but it doesn't look anything like it's deteriorated because they didn't really take care of it. If you look it up online, you can see a picture of it, and it's just falling apart. It's heartbreaking because they didn't take care of it. But people have scripts. There's actually, I'm going at this particular, no, not this Saturday, the following Saturday, I'm going to a convention, and somebody actually found and restored the original, if you remember from the movie, the original station wagon, or the silver station wagon that Donald Pleasance was in, and that's what Michael Myers steals and drives through the whole movie. Somebody actually located the exact one. I guess they found it through, I guess VIN numbers or whatever, restored it, and they take it to these conventions now. They can take pictures with it, and usually with Nick Castle, who was the guy that played the original Michael Myers. So I'm going to be going in 2 weeks. And everybody's like, you're going to go take a picture with a car? I said, yeah, I'm going to go take a picture with a car. I mean, to me, that's like, somebody saying, I'm going to go take a picture with Christine from the horror movie Christine, or go take a picture, like a Duke Hazard car, or some other famous car. It's like, that's famous to me. So I can't wait to go take a picture with that.
Absolutely.
But not too many props. I don't have any original props. That I don't have. I'd love to. I know people have some from the other movies, but very few exist from the original film. And if they do, they're out there and nobody's showing them because I'd love to see them. Yeah. You get that too. You get a lot of collectors that have some stuff and they just don't show it. Which is, I mean, if you have it, show it, share it with the world.
Yes. I always feel if you have a collection like my collection, I share it. I share it with everybody.
Yeah.
If I'm paying the money for it, you can see it. Just don't touch it or take it home.
Yeah, exactly. You can look what you want, just don't touch.
So with Halloween has gone through so many, new movies and sequels. What is your favorite one? And what was your least favorite one?
Easy to say. Obviously, the first one is, nothing's ever going to top that for me. The first one is my favorite by far. And my least favorite, I would honestly have to say either one of the two Rob Zombie remakes. Never really cared for them. It was a nice try. I mean, visually the movie looked cool and it was, creepy and everything, but it just wasn't the right feel It was more like a Friday the 13th take on Halloween.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it. So that's pretty much it for me. But
Yeah,
it was
I remember them just being too gory. Very
a
gory.
bit gory, very it's too vulgar too. I mean, yeah, I mean it's a horror movie. People got to curse. You might get a little bit of nudity, but it was just it was just very. I remember seeing the first 20 minutes in the theater. I was like, what am I watching? I'm like, it was like flashback to 1982. Am I in the right theater again? Like when I went to see Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, and there was no Michael Myers. Am I in the right theater? Yeah.
Yes. See, yeah, number three, that did make people reevaluate what happened. I read the book. I read Season of the Witch, the book when I was, because I don't even, I was like in high school, probably a senior, but yeah, the book was great. The movie, I was just like, what is this? But I have it on my
Grown
collection.
on people over the years. I kind of like it as a movie, and I have a lot of collectibles that go along with it. Actually, this past summer I met Tom Atkins and Stacey Nelkin from the movie, and it was super nice. And I mean, if you love Tom Atkins, you gotta love Tom Atkins and everything he does. I mean,
Yeah.
Night of the Creeps is a great movie. How could you not love that? I mean, but I like it. Everybody's just like, a lot of people just really look down on it. I'm like, well, it shouldn't be part of the Halloween franchise, but since it is, I still enjoy it because, like I said, it's part of my youth. It was back in the day when I could walk to the theater and go see the movies. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm not going to say I wasn't disappointed, because who wasn't disappointed when you didn't see Michael Myers? But over the years, I've grown to like it. Some people just still can't get past it, but I like it.
Yes. So with your collecting, where do you find most of your collectibles now? Do you go to the horror conventions, or, Spencer's, or where do you find, or eBay, where do you find most of your collectibles now?
Most of the stuff, believe it or not, over the years from collecting, I've actually made a lot of friends, believe it or not. Because like I said, I like to get the promotional stuff like film reels and press kits. I have some that I've met through eBay, believe it or not, and some I've met at the conventions where, we'll go back and forth, and if they're like, oh, I got this or I got that, and so it's a combination of that and pretty much eBay, because I mean, all the newer stuff you can find anywhere. You can get it at Spencer's. Hot Topic sells the stuff now. Even Walmart started to sell stuff now. So you can find Halloween stuff pretty much in a lot of places now, like those places. But online, eBay is still the best, because somebody's got something and it pops up. You're like, wow. And you're like,
Yeah.
where did you get this from? I want it.
Right. So have you met Jamie Lee Curtis or anybody from the original films?
I've met most of the people from the original films except for Jamie Lee. Donald Pleasance passed away, obviously, well before the whole convention thing went to full boom, where actors and actresses from movies would show up and you can meet them, take pictures. But I have signed photos, but most of the pictures I never printed out. I have them on my phone. But I met like Nick Castle, who was the original Michael Myers, PJ Souls, who was Linda, Nancy Loomis, who was Andy Brackett. Pretty much almost everybody from the original movie, with the exception of Donald Pleasance, rest in peace, and Jamie Lee Curtis, and John Carpenter, because he's an old curmudgeon and he really doesn't do conventions.
No, but I waited on him at Universal Studios.
How was he? Like, he'd be quite the curmudgeon.
He was great. No, he was great, and so was his wife. I can see her from the fog, but I can't. The one that had twins.
That was a while ago. Then it was Adrienne
yeah.
Barbeau.
Why ago? Long time.
He was married to Adrienne Barbeau. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I met, even if she wasn't in the movies, but yeah, I met her. She was in the fog with Tom Atkins. So, and they were right next to each other at the convention I was at. So I got to meet her too.
One of my other favorite movies. So let's look at some collectibles that you have. What do you have around you? What is the weirdest? What is the scariest? What's your favorite piece?
I was trying to think of what the weirdest thing is. I mean, everything's weird. I'm just trying to think of what the weirdest thing would be. I mean, I have everything from tons of figures. I mean, the thing that creeps most people out is the clown. If you remember from the first movie where he was dressed like a clown, there's a 3-inch clown doll, and when I used to have it on the other side of the room, like I said, when my daughter and her friends would be here, I'd come down the next day and it would be turned facing the wall because it used to creep them out. Because clowns scare everybody, but that one's just kind of creepy. have that. I mean, I have all masks that light up. Um, I do have animated figures. I just don't have them put together right now, just because we were doing some work down here. Well, we're rearranging a lot of things, so they're still in boxes. So I do have the big animated Myers that come together. There's two of them there. Um, Tons of mugs and glasses and lights and pumpkins, and I mean, the more rarer stuff that I would have. I mean, I'll turn a little bit because you can see there's this stuff here, and if you go over here, you'll start to see another hall. Now that's a whole wall of figures against the wall there. So every Myers figure that pretty much came out, I have. That's them on that entire wall. And some stuff on the shelves. I mean, one thing I can show you that was kind of cool. Well, these are all, I'm going to move him out of the way. And see what we can see. Up here are all the film reels. These are all 35 millimeter trailers. I have one for every movie. This I got in not that long ago. This is actually, see if I can hold it up. This is actually a reel-to-reel. This is what they used to send out to radio stations. This is a reel-to-reel of the commercials when Halloween was released back in '78. So if you hear like the teaser, I mean, not everything was on TV back then. Teaser trailers were on radio.
Yeah.
I have this. I have they used to send them out in 45 records. I have 45 records of the commercials as well.
Oh, wow.
So that was, I'll move Michael again. Sorry, buddy. Trying to see what else I can, if I turn a little bit more over here, I can grab. And one thing I do love is vinyl. Here I have all the soundtracks from every movie. These are cool. These VCDs. I don't know if you remember these. These were almost like a precursor to laser discs. There's actually a disc inside, and they were like cartridges you would put in. They only came out with Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, which is weird.
That is weird.
So
I do remember those. I mean, I believe those have really great quality, but they didn't really click on with people, did they? Those laser discs.
And this would be one of my favorites. This is the first release of the soundtrack. The soundtrack wasn't released here. The first release was in 1980 in Japan, and then it came here. This is actually the first release. And then I have one for every single one. I have some from different countries. Laser discs. I have all the laser discs. I have the laser discs from the Japan ones are cool because everybody gets a kid got the OBI strip on the outside. It dresses it up.
Nice.
Yeah, that's. Let's see where in the world I can find it. That would be. Here we go. These are the two Japanese ones, and with the OBI strips on them. So these were the first releases, and pretty much have every single one from every movie. Up here I have all press kits. I could break out some press kits. I actually have a sheet that they send out to back in the day when they send it to newspapers. Mm. It's a sheet with all the different advertisements. Like when you open up back in the day when you actually had to read the newspaper to see what movie was playing.
I remember.
Basically cut and paste different advertisements. It's a sheet that they would send out to whatever newspaper, and they would just take what they wanted and they would put that in there. I have that. So I do have some advertising stuff. One thing I do love, I don't know if everybody knows what they are, is lobby cards. Remember back in the day with movies, with press kits, they send out lobby cards, which were just basically stills. So I have a ton of them from pretty much every movie on. They didn't make an original set because, like I said, Halloween was such a low budget. They really didn't do much. The only thing they did do was, if I could find it, I should have had it out ready for you. They didn't have a press kit either. This was the cheaper version of press kits back then. A lot of movies had these. I get it out. It's called a press book. So this basically was the press kit for Halloween because it's just like a giant poster that folds out because it's cheap. And they didn't have much to spend money on. And here here's one sheet. This is a different sheet, but there's that one the sheet where you can cut and paste basically and put advertisements in, and then there's just pictures on the back. And these are pretty hard to come by.
Oh,
because yeah, these. I've seen a few over the years, and the ones I've seen were rough. This one I found from a private collector that I bought some stuff from, and he's like, "Oh, would you be interested in this?" And he showed it to me. I'm like, "Yeah," and he showed me the condition. I was like, "Yeah, I'll fly and come and get it if I have to." But,
how much did that cost you?
honestly, sometimes you get deals from people because they don't realize what they have. That only cost me $30.
Yeah,
And I've seen them on eBay for several $100s, and not in that condition either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what is that mask behind up on the top there? It's next to the Funkos.
That is a door greeter that looks nothing like Michael Myers, but it's a door greeter.
It's a door greeter?
Yeah, I put a Silver Shamrock Novelties from Halloween 3 hat on top of them just to annoy him. I can take that off. Yeah, so actually it just turns on. Yeah, I mean, everything has this Halloween theme on it. We have that.
Okay, so have they made a Halloween Christmas ornament yet?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. I thought I had a Halloween 2 on it. I do. The two that I have, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Looking at a Halloween 1 and a Halloween 2. And actually, for those, if anybody watches this, you want to go to Halloween City, which is an offshoot of Party City. Not sure if everybody has Party Cities where they are. I don't know if you know what Party City is.
I think Party City. Well, we have a couple here in LA, but I haven't heard of Halloween City. Is it adjunct or just?
Yeah, it's like a pop-up Halloween store, like sort of in line with Spirit Halloween, and it's owned by Party City, and they sell these. That's where I actually got them. They sell a lot of Halloween stuff. Actually, that's where the big Michael Myers Stan Lee came from. They have a lot of stuff like this. They're like basically trying to compete with Spirit every year. I mean, a lot of this stuff came from Spirit Halloween, like this year. This was a hot item. Was it last year? This was the hot item at Spirit. A light up pumpkin Myers.
Oh wow!
And these were such short demand, and then this year they came out, and the same thing, they fly off the shelves. And the thing is, the only thing that stinks about collecting, which I'm sure it happens in every type of collecting, is you get people that run out and buy these. They go out and buy 10 of them, and this sold for I think $40, and then you go on eBay and they're $100.
Yeah.
No, that's the downside of trying to collect, because it's like you want to get the stuff, but then you can't get it because somebody's buying 10 of them, and then they put them up, and then that's the only thing over the years that's made it unenjoyable.
Yeah.
Because years ago, you'd go to, I like the shows where you go to shows and you can meet people, you can buy, trade, you meet other collectors. I've met so many people that way, and we're collectors. It's not a race. It's like I try to show everything I have, and most of the people I've met that I chat with on Instagram or on Facebook, it's like we're not in competition with each other. So we're always like, we know we're collectors. We're not trying to gouge each other, so to speak. Pardon my ring.
No problem. Wow. So anything else you can grab just so we can see some more things?
Sure. Anything you want to see? I got this is good. We have the masks that just light up. This is one of the older Meyer things. The masks just light up. This is from the early 2000s. This is one of the ones that were at Spencer's. Trying to think if I grab some figures. I'll be right back on camera.
Fantastic.
This was one of the first collectibles, believe it or not, from Spencer's. And this came out, I want to say the early 2000s this came out. And this was probably one of the first ones. A lot of the collectors have these, but this is pretty much what kicked it off. When I saw this, And then I went to Spencer's and I did a deep dive on everything else. I was like, wow, this is going to be expensive.
So do you find that your stuff only comes out during November, October?
It comes out, they do release stuff during the year, but this time of year it gets flooded, especially with the new movies, the 2018 movie and Halloween Kills. I mean, every day I get notices of new stuff coming out, and it's just like, oh, how do you keep up with it? So you have to draw the line at certain things. You know, I like the figures. My passion, like I said, is the promotional stuff. I love the film reels and press kits, anything to do with the movie. I love that. I get the biggest kick out of that stuff. And the vinyl, I love the vinyl. I know I do have the new vinyl coming in for the new movie. Probably at the end of the week. They try not to release anything until after the movie, because last time I got the album, I got the LP, I think the day before 2018 came out. And if you read some of the titles, it kind of tells you what happens in the movie. So I think they kind of tied it better this year, that they don't release it before. This was one of the first things I remember too that came out, which is really collectible. It's I believe it was for the 20th anniversary, so this is 1998. It's a snow globe. I'm trying to get it so it's not getting a ring out. Yeah, it's a snow globe in there with an actual VHS of the cassette. Now this, I never in a million years would have realized how collectible this is. Everybody gets the biggest kick out of it because they like the snow globe. If you turn it upside down, it's hard to see in there, but there's all blood splatter when you turn it upside down. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the funniest thing I remember, this was actually a gift from my brother-in-law. It was a Secret Santa. I didn't know what to get to me, so my wife just said, just get anything with Halloween on. And that's how I always remember where this came from. She's like, just get him anything with Halloween on and he'll love it. And he found this. And this is, this is one of the harder ones to find. And when they do pop up, they're really expensive, which I'm surprised. Yeah.
That's surprising. That's surprising.
Yeah, this is definitely one of them. I'm trying to, some of the other ones, a lot of the figures are they're definitely very pricey. I can show you, this would be, people get a kick out of this. This is, trying to find one of the press kits that look more like a real press kit so that people can get an idea. All right, so this is actually an original press kit for Halloween 2. So like before I showed you, it was just a piece of, basically like a poster. This is different, where it's going to have all the notes about the movie, and it's going to have all pictures. So this is what a typical press kit would look like. I have one of these for Halloween 2, Halloween 3, 4, 5, 6. I have some Canadian versions. I have some European versions. There's a lot of them came out, they were different. One of the cooler ones is this, which is weird. I don't even know what you would play this on. This is a digital press kit. It looks like a VHS tape. For the, if you remember 20 years, Halloween H2O, when they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back 20 years later, this is a digital press kit. I guess at the time they had players. That's a weird tape.
Those are the large ones.
Yeah.
Large VHS. TV stations kind of still use them, but yeah.
Yep. So this was, I always found weird. Everybody's like, oh, what's on? I go, I don't know. I have a player. I don't even know how to play it. I said, it was just cool when I saw it. I'm like, oh, I got to have that. I got to add it to the collection. I do have H2O press kits, regular press kits, but I thought this was great.
It's yeah, it probably has the commercials and interviews and stuff like that. Yeah, those are great.
And these are the 45 records I was telling you about. They're actually, this is what they would get to the radio stations to play the commercials. So these are actually promotional 45s of Halloween. Just like I had the reel-to-reel before, this is actually what they would have played on a record-wise. And I was wrong before, because actually the first release of Halloween in Japan was a 45 before the album came out. So I have that as well.
Nice.
Yeah, the vinyl and the stuff like that, I love.
Yeah.
I'm also I'm a guitar player, and as you can see it from the thousands of CDs behind me, I love music as well. So that's why I love vinyl, and I get the kick out of it because this generation loves vinyl.
I know.
My son loves vinyl. He'll go, he's away at college right now, but when he was home, we'd go we'd go to record store day. We go buy. He loved to buy old vintage vinyl, and it's amazing how the kids love the vinyl now. It's great.
It's amazing. But what shocks me is stuff that I used to buy for like $4, $5, $6. Now it's like 24 for an album. I'm like, what?
You used to find them you'd find people putting them out in crates, throwing them out.
Yeah.
And you get paying $25 for a record. It's like, wow.
I know I probably had hundreds of records I threw out or gave to thrift stores.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Lunch boxes. This is actually what I was telling you about before. I do have some promotional posters. I can't lift all of them up because they weigh a ton, but this is one film reel of the Halloween of one 35 millimeter reel. And there's 5 of them. And actually,
Nice.
the gentleman I bought this from, what he used to do, he's like, what you should do is contact local theaters because they usually play Halloween.
Yeah.
Somewhere around here. They always release it at some theaters. He's like, you can actually let them use it. And I thought that, I'm like, yeah, it'd be great. But I said, I would be so nervous that something would happen to it. It'd be like lending some of my child.
Yes.
My wife even says, she's like, well, why don't you, because we have an old theater where I live in town. And they actually showed Halloween a couple of years back and we went. And she's like, why don't you see if they'd be interested in renting it out? I'm like, I can't. I'd be if something happened to it. I'd be like,
sitting here waiting for, remember when they used to burn and the light got too hot and it would burn? Yeah.
That's it. I'd be like, oh my God, it's gonna melt, something's gonna happen to it. I'm gonna die.
It never happens now because most of the time they use DVDs or Blu-rays now. They don't even use film most of the time. So
well, that's it. Now they don't even use it. I mean, there was a theater. I'm in Northeast PA. There was a theater called the Mahoning Drive-In. They still showed 35 millimeter movies. They'd show all the horror movies, and actually they would have a lot of horror conventions. I've been a lot of horror conventions there. It's actually where I met Sandy Johnson, who played Judith Myers, the sister that gets killed in the beginning of the movie. That's actually where I got to meet her. One other cool thing is this. I'm trying to think of stuff from the original movie. This is actually, like, I have all 35 millimeter trailers from each movie, including Halloween, the original. This is an original 16 millimeter commercial. This is what they would show. This is like a 30-second commercial that they would show on 16 millimeter. So that's one of the other original promotional items I got.
So do you watch any of that stuff at home? Do you have reel-to-reels?
No, I keep saying I'm going to buy one, and actually one of the collectors I got some stuff from, he does a lot of transfer stuff. He's even got a YouTube channel, and he wants me to send the reel-to-reel because he's like, I'll transfer it for you. I'll make a copy and send everything back. So,
yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, I trust the guy totally, but I'm just like, oh God, if something happens to it, I'm going to die. So I'm debating it because I think it would be very cool to hear and see. I mean, even with the trailers, you can hold them up like this and look at them at the light so you know that they're actually what they're supposed to be. Because you want to make sure what you're buying is the real thing. It's not just somebody's home movie that says, hey, it's Halloween on it. You look at it, you're like, who are these people? So yeah, so everything I do have is definitely original, that I know. But I have old press kits, tons of press kits, jackets, shirts. I mean, like you mentioned the novels, you read the Halloween 3 novel. That's all of them right there. Those are all the original novels. These came out. These flew under the radar. I don't know if you were aware of these. Halloween themed novels that came out in the this was the early 2000s. They're different stories with Michael Myers, and there's 3 of them. And these, you could get any store for 75 cents. Now you can't. Now they're selling for $100 a piece or more.
Wow. Do
they get under the radar?
Story, or are there different stories?
Different stories.
Huh.
So these are pretty hard to come by. One of the things everybody's looking for is this. This is a Halloween novel, but it's the first release. If you remember, everything else had the typical cover you're so used to seeing. This is the one that everybody's trying to find because this is the first release with a weird cover, which is basically a play on Bob the Ghost, I guess, in the movie. If you remember Bob getting killed. Yeah. Ghost Bob, as they would call him. Which, I think of things that are very, basically things that people are looking for. If you're a Halloween collector, there's this, like any type of collection, there's always pieces. I wouldn't call them all grails because everybody calls everything grails, but there's essential pieces you want to have in your collection. Those are some of them. And speaking of Ghost Bob, everybody is always looking for this one. Ghost Bob the figure. So that's one everybody's always looking for. And this one too, which is Evolution of Evil, which is Myers and Young Myers. This one you see a lot of people take to conventions if they can find this and have Nick Castle sign it and Will Sandon. Will Sandon is the little boy who played Michael Myers in the movie. So a lot of people get both sides of it signed. That's one thing. I don't know if you deal with a lot of collectors that I like autographs, but I don't like my items autographed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. If I find like an item in perfect condition, to me, when you write on it, you kind of kill it for me. You know, if I take a picture with somebody, they sign a photograph, I'll keep that. That's what but everybody's like, oh, you don't have any of your stuff signed? I'm like, nah, to me, it kind of ruins it. Because getting something signed to me is personal. So someday, I'm not going to be buried with all this stuff. Somebody else wants this when I go, and my kids will be very happy to sell it because they'll make money on it. You know, let somebody else enjoy it without my name on it, or Nick Castle's name on it, or somebody's name on it. Let them do with it what they want. A lot of people are very, they just have to have everything signed. And I'm like, I'm not that person. I'll get a photo, I'll pay, get a photograph with the person. They'll sign something. I have a bunch of them over there from the people I've met. But everything else, I'd rather keep it in perfect condition. A little bit.
Nice.
Just a little anal about certain things. But I will show you I'll show you the creepiest one, which is this.
Yes, let's see the creepiest one.
This is the one that, like I said, all my daughter's friends would always turn it around when they would sleep over. This is Michael Myers clown doll.
Oh.
So they don't like staring at this when they're trying to sleep down here.
Yeah, he is very creepy.
Yeah,
I don't envision him that creepy in the movie.
Well, it's funny. It is. It looks nothing like him. And
Yeah.
when they came out with this, I remember seeing it. I'm like, it's almost like Annabelle creepy from The Conjuring, more so than Michael Myers. It doesn't look anything like him, but it's definitely.
Yeah, because he just wore that little mask, right?
Exactly.
That was the mask. That's a whole thing going on there.
He didn't have white hair like a creepy doll. He had brown hair. Yeah,
I can understand why it gets turned around. I can understand.
Oh yeah, I'd come down and I'd know when they were down here because they turn it around. Because they want to see it. And then, like I was saying, when it all started back in the early 2000s, Paper Magic Group through Spencer's would sell a lot of stuff. And like I said, it wasn't really the greatest quality. It's cool to have them all, and they're hard to find. You have creepy stuff like that. It doesn't look like Michael Myers. It looks like me on a Monday morning going to work.
Wow. Does he light up? What is he, like a marionette or something?
Just supposed to hang and scare you. So you see, you have these tags on them. This, like I said, this was the first line of Halloween items that come out. All these older ones. If you can find them, it's funny because sometimes I see people, they don't know what they have. I come from, I don't know if have you done anybody that's collected like the rock group Kiss memorabilia? You've seen them online?
No.
I used to have a very large Kiss collection. I used to have the Kiss pinball machine. I used to have, and I sold it all probably 20 some odd years ago. I just got out of it because it was so oversaturated. And, starting a family, who's got time for it? So I have more time for this now because I free myself up more to do stuff like this. But all Kiss collectors are trying to find. That's all everybody tries to find. This to me is like the old stuff, because I tell everybody, I say, if you come across this stuff, that no, they don't sell it for cheap. I say, because this was the first line of Halloween stuff to come out. I mean, now they have so much stuff out. I mean, just go to any FYE or any Spirit or any Hot Topic or any Spencer's, and there's tons of Halloween stuff out now. But I guess since I'm older, I like the vintage stuff. I like the older stuff because I think that's cooler. Not to say don't buy some of the new stuff, because believe me, I do, as you can see, much to my wife's chagrin. Let me put him away. And I mean, there's just so much. I don't even know where to start. I mean, if you know anything, because you've seen it on the page. I mean, and some of one of your questions were, what's some of the craziest stuff? Look at this. This is soap with Michael Myers on it. Bar soap. It's supposed to smell like pumpkin. Doesn't smell like pumpkin, but it's supposed to.
So you can be as clean as Michael Myers?
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, you don't use this. Michael Myers doesn't want to be rubbed on me when I'm trying to shower, believe me. So that's some of the stranger stuff. And you have air fresheners, or they like to call them scare fresheners. One for every single mask. You name it, they're out there.
I love it.
Lunch boxes, which are great because I love the old vintage stuff. These are all magazines. If Halloween's in a magazine, I pretty much have it.
Nice.
It's pretty much on any cover. I'm trying to think if there's anything. This is going back to the original stuff. This is kind of cool. This is Box Office magazine when Halloween was advertising Halloween when it was coming out in 1978. As you can see from the top, let's see what it says. New from Compass International Pictures, Halloween. So it's one of those trade magazines called Box Office. If stuff like that pops up, I'm all over it. If that's, to me, that's the cool stuff. Some of the crazier stuff that's out there now, I mean, somebody's thinking of ways to make money. Halloween coloring books. Imagine having these as a kid, coloring Michael Myers.
But is there an activities book and how to do Michael Myers' favorite things?
Well, there is. Where is it?
Or do you think that's too far, an activity book?
I don't know. That might get him in jail. They'll be blaming somebody when somebody gets hurt. I'm trying to find somewhere in here. I have. I don't know. It's actually a pumpkin carving. We can carve the jack-o'-lantern. I have it somewhere. They still sell those. You can find those in Spirit Halloween. They're there this year. One other odd thing I forgot, because most people will sit there and say, why would you have a Playboy in your collection? Well, because those who know who Sandy Johnson is, who played Judith Myers in the original movie, know she was a Playboy playmate. And she was centerfold June 1974. So this is actually the Playboy she was in 1974.
How
so
revealing.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, why do you have a Playboy in the middle of is that you hiding that or something? I'm like, no, it's because Sandy Johnson's in it.
Oh, I have Playboys in my collection too. Farrah and Tanya both posed for Playboy. So
who?
Farrah Fawcett and Tanya Roberts. I collect on Charlie's Angels.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw that. That's so. And I couldn't believe how Tanya Roberts passed away.
Neither can I.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was her greatest role, but I was a big fan of that 70s show, and she was one of the reasons why I watched it.
Oh, great! I was best friends with her, so.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. Miss her a lot.
Wow.
So, are you excited about the new movie coming up?
Yes, I am. I'm maybe being an old fuddy-duddy, but I'm going to probably see it in the theater, but I'm not going to go on Friday. I got it, because as you know, they're streaming on Peacock. And what I usually do, especially at fall time in my backyard, I have a movie screen I put up and we watch movies in the backyard. So I'm just going to stream Peacock, and we're basically going to watch it like we're at a drive-in theater. Me, wife, and the kids sit out there and just watch it like we're at a movie theater. Well, I had a drive-in. And the weather is supposed to hold out. So at least it's not supposed to rain from where I am on Friday night, because that was the big thing. I'm like, oh, if it rains, then we got to go get theater tickets. I will go see it in the theaters because I've seen every movie in the theater, with the exception of I didn't see Halloween when it came out, obviously, because I saw it in 1980. But I've seen it various times when they released it in theaters. But every other movie I've seen in the theater. So as much as I'm like, I guess I got to go to the theater because I want to be able to say so every single movie in the theater. But Friday night, we're all going to watch it here, just together, sit in the backyard and watch it. And a nice fall night, nice outdoor atmosphere. It'd be like sitting in a drive-in.
And have you ever dressed up like Michael Myers?
I had a costume once or twice, but honestly, I just don't have the build for it. So I looked more like Curly from the Three Stooges in Michael Myers' outfit. Yeah. They're tall and thin and lanky. I got a round head and a round body. It just didn't look right. I'm like, I was like, oh, you don't dress up like Michael Myers? I'm like, yeah, it just, I don't have the build for it. Sorry.
I don't have the face for it. I can't pull it off. I can't pull it off.
No, I don't. No, I tried it when I put the costume on, and I'm like, there's a place for me to be like, who's the heavy mechanic? No.
Patrick, it's been amazing looking at your Halloween collection. I love your passion for it because I love the movie as much as you do. Every year I write PJ and say, I'm watching your movie. Or text, I'm watching your movie again. Where can people find all your stuff, or if they have something you want, or is there anything on your list that you're really looking for that was bygone by bygone?
The Great White Whale is one of mine, and probably serious Halloween collector's Great White Whale would be the Halloween Atari 2600 cassette. It came out back in 1983, and the sad thing is I had it as a kid, and I don't know if you remember how it was when you grew up. Growing up, I had all these things, and then when I got older, it's like, where did all this stuff go? Did it just evaporate? Because I don't know where that's.
Mom had a yard sale.
I guess so, but and they're very, very hard to come by, and they're very, very pricey now. They weren't
really
for the past few years, yeah. And you see a few on eBay pop up without the box and everything. But if I'm going to buy it, I have to have it. I'm a perfectionist. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
I do have. I found this. Speaking of which, it was right behind it. This is the Spears Halloween. If you want to carve a pumpkin like Halloween, they sell these. It's basically stencils. It happened to be right behind what I was going to show you. This is actually the manual for the game. Remember, you used to buy them, and they used to come in a cardboard box with a manual. It wasn't much to tell you because it was just a joystick and a button, but I guess they had to have a manual to explain to you how it worked. So I actually found this amongst a bunch of other Atari 2600 manuals, but the cartridge wasn't there. So I bought this thinking, well, if I ever find one in a box without the manual,
you'll have the manual.
That's my Great White Whale. Yeah, they're very hard to come by because they didn't produce a lot. And I'd love to go back in time, go to my parents' house, which is long sold, and find out what the hell happened to it. Because I had it.
If you ever find that time machine, let me know. I'll jump on over, and I have a couple things I need to go get too from Toys R Us from 1978.
Yes. Well, that's pretty much my White Whale. I mean, I pretty much have everything you can have. That's what most collectors would want in Halloween, like the hardcore collectors. A lot of people just collect certain things. Some of us are what we call Halloween purists. We love everything about the first movie. If I can find anything with the first movie, especially, like I said, the film reels, promotional stuff, I'm all over that stuff. And yeah, props would be great, but not just me. Just not. I know a lot of people that do have props from the other movies, and yeah, that I don't have. Yeah, well, I like to get some stuff maybe down the road if it pops up, and it's I'm not to mortgage the house, or my wife throw me out to go to buy it, but if it pops up, maybe.
So where can people find you? On Instagram and Facebook?
On Instagram, like you found me, at that Halloween movie collector. I'll play on that 70s show, that Halloween movie collector. And I have a Facebook group. It's called Halloween and Michael Myers Collectors Group. We have about 16,000 people in there. I've met tons of great collectors, have become friends. And, I've found stuff for people overseas that they can't find. I've found people overseas for stuff that I can't find, and we trade back and forth. And it's a good community. If anybody watching this is a Halloween fan, I mean, there's a lot of Halloween groups. Don't get me wrong, and I belong to probably every single one of them. But if you like, if it's more on the collecting side, which is what we do, you can't go wrong. It's Halloween and Michael Myers Collectors Group.
Well, that's great. That's good to know that people, not all collectors are as nice and collecting, sharing, and finding and sending. So it's good to hear that the Halloween fans are that way. I like it.
Yeah,
they're not stabbing you in the back for it. Okay.
No, and I pretty much weeded out the ones that are like that, and I have a good group of people that are constant in that do the same thing, that watch for it. And actually, just if you do check out the group, there's a gentleman who's one of my admins now. He's actually opened up a Halloween museum.
Ooh.
For Halloween collectibles. It's in San Antonio, Texas. Excuse me. Now, I have, I try to stay specific to like the first couple movies. I do have a lot from the other movies, as you can see, all the promotional stuff from every movie. If it's got Halloween on it, this guy's got it. I mean, it's a warehouse full of stuff.
Nice.
So, everybody wants to check out my page. He just opened up, I think, a couple of weeks ago. So if anybody's in the San Antonio area, and it's a store too. He's just opening. He's gonna have a lot more horror collectibles. The Halloween stuff's not for sale. It's just a display. But he's gonna be selling a lot of stuff. He's got pinball machines. That's the new thing that just came out. A Halloween pinball machine just came out.
Ooh.
Yeah, which was way out of my budget, and I couldn't have got one if I tried because they sold out like instantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. My final question of the day with you. First off, thank you for joining us. But have you been to LA and have you been to the film sites?
That's my bucket list.
Oh, really? Next time you're in town, you let me know because I've been to most of them here.
Never been out there. Yep. We'll hopefully do a few more things on our own. We're talking about getting a camper going across country. That's one of our things we want to do. And like I said, that GPS, it's going to be Pasadena, California.
Pasadena, and then come on over to West Hollywood to the house she babysits at and the house across the street. I can't remember. I think the house across the street is there. Or is that
the Doyle house? Yep, there's the two houses right across.
The two houses are there. Also across the 2 blocks over is the Nightmare on Elm Street house. But anyway, and there's 2 houses over there. But that would be great. Let me know. Bring me up. I'll show you some Michael Myers fun stuff. It's great.
Absolutely.
Patrick, thank you for sharing us your collection. It is amazing. It is amazing. I would love to be right there and looking at everything and opening stuff and watching the movie. I hope you have a great time this weekend. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching the show. If you have a collection, I would love to chat with you. I'd love to have you on the show because I love collectors. I'm a collector, so let's talk collecting. Okay. Who wrote this script? All right. Patrick, thank you so much. Happy Halloween to you, sir.
Thank you.
And everybody else, happy Halloween.